Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to your English class. Today we are going to discuss chapter 12 Camels versus Trains. The chapter is written by Satyajit Ray. He was an Indian filmmaker, artist, and writer. He wrote several short stories and novels for children and young adults. He created the famous characters of the scientist Professor Shonku and the detective Feluda. He is also remembered for the films in the Apu trilogy. The theme of the story explains the careful planning involved in filmmaking and the difficulties that rises in between. Here in this extract, Satyajit Ray shares his own experience. So we shall see how Satyajit Ray shares his experiences in filmmaking. Okay. So at first we shall go through the warm-up section. Many films have thrilling action scenes where actors chase villains on motorcycles, cars, buses, or trains. In some scenes, there are stunts involved where the actor jumps from one moving vehicle to another. It's extremely difficult to shoot these scenes and at times even dangerous for the actors and stuntmen. So, we have seen many films in which actors chasing villains and on vehicles like motorcycles, cars, buses, or trains. These vehicles will be moving and actors jumps from one moving vehicle to another. We have seen such scenes in films, right? So it's very difficult to shoot such scenes and it will be dangerous at the same time. Now there are few questions, three questions just below that. Discuss with your partner. These questions with your friend. Do you know the names of any films that have exciting action scenes? Can you describe one such scene? What was the most exciting part? You can discuss these questions with your friends and find out your own answers. So here we start the lesson. In this extract, Satyajit Ray shares his experience of filming Sonar Kella, where Feluda, Topshe, and Jadayu need to reach Ramdiora to take the train to Jaisalmer in order to catch the villain Mandar Bose. They take a lift on camels. In the middle of their extremely uncomfortable journey across the desert, Topshe spots a train going towards Ramdiora. Feluda waves his handkerchief to stop the train, but the train simply whooshes past. They have to travel to Ramdiora on the camels. So here in the first paragraph, you can see some places which which you will not be aware of. First one is Ramdiora. Ramdiora is a village in Jaisalmer. Ramdiora is a village in Jaisalmer. And Jaisalmer is a city in Rajasthan. Okay. So Satyajit Ray shares his experience while filming Sonar Kella. Sonar Kella is the name of a film. Characters named Feluda, Topshe, and Jadayu need to reach Ramdiora. I already said it's a village in Jaisalmer. Ramdiora is a village in Jaisalmer. So these characters named Feluda, Topshe, and Jadayu need to reach Ramdiora to catch the train to Jaisalmer to catch the villain Mandar Bose. So they began their journey on camels. But they felt it very uncomfortable and to make a journey on camels. So Feluda waves his handkerchief to stop a train which was going towards Ramdiora. But the train didn't stop and they have to travel to Ramdiora on the camels. This was a sequence that had to be shot. Now, if I describe the problems we had to face to shoot just these few scenes, you will get an idea of what an elaborate process filmmaking is. Everyone knows there is no dearth of camels in Rajasthan. But the problem was that the place we had chosen was far from a city or village. As far as the eye could see, there was only an expanse of sand with thorny bushes and dried grass. So, this was the scene we had to shoot. Even though the scenes were short, it is very difficult to shoot these scenes. We had to face lots of problems while shooting. If I describe the problems, you will get an idea about it and you will come to know how much complicated the filmmaking is. Camels are easily available in Rajasthan, but the place we have selected for shooting was far away from the village. The place was full of dried grass and thorny bushes. Railway tracks cut across the desert, seemingly without beginning or end. A highway to Jaisalmer ran near the railway track. The cameraman would have to get into an open top jeep with the camera to film the camels running towards the train. We looked far and wide for a suitable location. We had to travel 100 miles from Jodhpur to Jaisalmer and search every inch of the way to find a suitable place. The camels had to be brought from a village called Kachi, 7 miles further east. So there were railway tracks running across the desert. A highway to Jaisalmer ran near the railway track. The cameraman need to get to an open-topped jeep to shoot the scene of camels running towards the train. We have searched for suitable locations for our shooting. We have traveled 100 miles. We have traveled 100 miles from Jodhpur to Jaisalmer to find a place for shooting. We have brought camels from a village called Kachi, which was 7 miles further east. Kachi is a village of Haripur, which is a province of Pakistan. And Jodhpur is a city in the Thar desert. It is located in Rajasthan. So we had got the camels. Now we had to get a train. We decided to use one that ran in the morning from Jodhpur to Pokhran. As we were getting ready for the big day, the train we were planning to use was cancelled. What a disaster! Now, how would we show Feluda and his team running through the desert on camels, trying to stop a train? I met the railway authorities on the same day and explained the situation. They understood our problem and offered to give us a whole train. And we had to do was pay for the coal used. So at last we have got the camels for shooting, and we need to get a train also to shoot our scene. So we have selected the one that traveling from. We have selected a train that traveling from Jodhpur to Pokhran. The train we have planned for shooting has been cancelled. But the train we have planned a train, right? So the train has been cancelled. So we are not able to shoot the scene of Feluda and his team running through the desert on camels trying to stop the train. Actually, this was the scene we need to shoot, but just because of the cancellation of this the train we have planned, we need to make we were in need to make another remedies to solve the problem. So I met the railway authorities to solve this problem, and they have offered a whole train. We need to pay for the coal we used. Now the train was entirely at our disposal for a few hours. We could make it start and stop or run backwards and forwards just as we liked. The first hitch occurred at Pokhran. The train that was supposed to arrive at 11:30 turned up at 2:30. A delay of 3 hours meant complete chaos. When we had traveled some distance on the train, I got into the coal tender with two of my assistants. I wanted to get a close up of engine's chimney with thick black smoke coming out of it. Through this smoke, I could show the two railway lines running parallel to each other, stretching right up to the horizon. So at last we got the train for our shoot. But the train was supposed to arrive at 11:30, but it came at 2:30. The train was late for 3 hours. After traveling a short distance, I got into that part where the steam engine was located. I would like to shoot from there. So I wanted to take a close-up shot of that engine's chimney with thick black smoke coming out of it, and I could make a scene of two railway lines running parallel to each other, stretching right up to the horizon. The driver had a companion who was the stoker. His job was to pick up pieces of coal with a huge shovel and load them into the boiler. I stood on a mound of coal with the camera in my hand. I pressed my elbows against the roof of the engine for support. I kept losing my balance, and at first I was quite puzzled by this. But when I finished taking the final shot, I realized that because I had been standing right on the top of the mound, the poor stoker had no choice but to dig the coal from under my feet. So I stood on the large pile of coal with the camera in my hands. I pressed my elbow against the roof of the engine for to get a support. After some time, I felt that I was losing my balance as I was standing because I was standing on the top of the mound of coal where the poor stoker was digging the coal. The funny thing was, he was digging coal from under my feet because I was standing on the top of coal, right? So, the funny thing was, the stoker was digging coal from under my feet. And I was not at all aware of that. And after some time, I came to know that I was standing on a pile of coal. So that's all for today. We have seen up to page number 135. Go through the chapter. Up to that much we have seen. Read the chapter many times. Then you will get a fresh idea about the chapter. Overall, what we have seen in the chapter up to page number 135, we have seen Satyajit Ray shares his experience of filming Sonarkala. Sonarkala is the name of a film, and he is sharing his experiences while shooting this film. Okay, we shall see the rest of the chapter in the next class. See you and goodbye.